Season's greeting, everyone, from iAwake. My name is John Dupuy, and this is my colleague and dear friend, Douglas Prater.
Hello, everyone.
And we've just moved into the month of December, and I want to say a few words about the holidays. And first of all, to wish you all a beautiful holiday, and let's make this a better one. And I know we're living in the United States and elsewhere in the Western world, we're living in very challenging times where we seem to be going back into developmental levels of tribalism. You know, my tribe and what we say, and your tribe and what you say, and never shall the twain meet. And that is often challenging, especially as brought together during the holidays, because we get family members together, and it seems that everybody's coming from a different place, whether politically or religiously, or lack of religiously, and it can be it can be very difficult. So I'll say a few words that this is probably a great revelation. You'll be shocked, but I've talked about this before. In fact, probably every year, is that it's the practice. Okay, practice. And some of us have very functional, wonderful families that we really look forward to, and that's a beautiful thing. And others of us have families that are perhaps not so functional, and it's a challenge just to get together and kind of recapitulate all the stuff that we went through as children, and how do we handle it, and should I just be polite, as Uncle Bernie goes on about yada yada yada, and all his stuff that we find very offensive. Do we stand up for the truth, or do we just focus on the dessert and keep our mouths shut? Or how do we work this stuff out? And I've done it a whole bunch of ways. First of all, make sure if you go to a family reunion that you bring your own vehicle. Have an escape route. Very important. And I've done that before, where I was dependent on other people's vehicles, and I had to get out of there, and there was no place to go, and I felt trapped. So go take a ride, get away for a while. Also, up your practice time. That's the other big survival, besides having your own means of regress practice. And so if my practice was an hour a day during the holidays, I would do it 2 hours a day, and maybe 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. Or if I could get 2 hours in the morning, boy, that would really help. And people may think you're weird, but they already think you're weird anyway. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. And it might be an inspiration to others. Yeah, but do whatever you have to do. Get up early, so maybe imbibe less, eat less, so you can get up at your 5:30, so you can get your practice, your meditation, and your exercise in. And I guess how I approach this thing is the holidays are kind of mysterious, and they're kind of a spiritual koan. They're an issue that we can work on a bunch of different levels, that if we stay present with it and work, can often lead to breakthroughs and new chapters in our life, and elevated, and I wouldn't say exacerbated, but perhaps exacerbated growth. And I've made mistakes before and lost it, and had to go back and clean up my messes. And so if you do get angry, if you do lose it at a certain kind, make sure you can go back and apologize, and not looking for tit for tat. Another looking, no quid pro quo. Apologize, own your stuff, and don't expect anybody to meet you at your level. And if you do that, in other words, I want to apologize the way I behaved. I really love you, and I'm so sorry. And but I don't need anything from you. I just need to say this. And when you do that, it's pretty amazing. So and of course, symbolically, it's the death of the old cycle, right? And we're getting ready to experience the longest day of the year in northern hemispheres, anyway. And it's a time of the death and the ingestion and the going back into the interior, into the dark place, back into the earth, and springing forth with new life. And of course, in the Christian tradition, the birth of Jesus is the birth of the divine in humanity, in each and all of us, and it's symbolic of that. And it's often met with difficulty and adventures and darkness and suffering, but it is the purpose and the meaning that we're here. So it's something to be present with. And if you have to go to religious services that you're maybe not really in sync with, or maybe you've had bad experiences with religion, a lot of us have. Many of us have been blessed. Others of us have been really hurt by our experiences in religion. Go and see if you can just use it as a time to participate from your heart and be there presently. And when you're down on your knees or going through the thing, just be present and just pray or meditate or do whatever your practice is. And I think you'll find it can really illuminate the experiences. And that's certainly been my experience. Where we live in Southern Utah, there's not a lot of places, churches that are available to us. And so we pretty much have done our own thing for years, have a meditation room, and we do a practice on Sundays. But just go with an open heart and be an open mind and listen. And if you find people, if you're able to do this, and this takes to being pretty centered, but in the current political climb where anything talking about the president or what's going on with impeachment can just lead to explosions and arguing and fighting and nothing constructive. But see if you're in the place where you can just ask, what do you see? Why do you admire this man? What's going on? I don't understand, but I want to know. And not using it as a trap to expose the foibles of their logic or their argument, but just deeply listening. And it's very powerful and can be really shocking. So sometimes, we have to empty ourselves of our agendas and our thoughts and our programs and our plans and our righteous arguments and just listen to others. And I think maybe that's the gift that I'd like to share is try to deeply listen this year in a place of just observing with open mind and compassionate heart, and don't try to fix anybody. Just be present and know that Jordan Peterson says, approach each conversation as if this person has something they can teach you. And they're the teacher and you're the student. And if you ask that with an open heart and ask good questions, they'll sense that. And almost, across the board, people respond to that kind of a respectful and deep listening. So maybe that's the gift that we can give you from iAwake this as we move into the holidays. So open your heart, open your minds, and empty yourselves of your agendas, and may divine compassion come through us, and may we be a blessing to all that we are karmically and dutifully and familially connected with this time of year. Doug, anything you want to tap onto that?
Well, I think you put it beautifully. This is I'm reminded of something Adyashanti said, which is, what might it mean to live this moment through the eyes of the heart? And if we can bring that question and that spirit with us while we're deeply listening to everyone, the holiday season this year can really be a great opportunity for all of us to heal and grow and bring the spirit of what we want to see into all of our interactions. So happy holidays to everyone who's celebrating, and thank you, John.
And thank you, everyone. And we love you and respect you, and we're here for you. Thank you.